When you think about what makes a sponsorship program truly successful, what's the first thing that comes to mind? It's easy to say money or resources, but the single most valuable asset, it's trust. Today, we're diving into why trust is the absolute bedrock for creating real, lasting impact, and more importantly, how you can start building it.
I mean, it's a question we've all asked, right? Whether you're a donor about to give or you're a nonprofit leader managing a complex program, that little nagging feeling of, is this actually working? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today, because the answer isn't just about more data, it's about more trust. Solid, undeniable trust.
So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the why, the real reason trust is everything. Then we'll get practical with a blueprint for how to build it. We'll also look at the common roadblocks you might hit, how technology can be a total game changer, and finally, we'll map out your path to making a real impact. All right, let's lay that foundation. Here's the big idea. Trust is what turns a simple donation, which is really just a transaction, into a powerful long-term partnership. It's the glue that holds the whole thing together. And without that trust, well, the entire system just kind of falls apart. Sponsors get skeptical, they pull back, and ultimately the communities that we're all trying to serve are the ones who get left behind. That's why the stakes here are so incredibly high. You see, when trust is there, it creates this amazing positive feedback loop. For sponsors, it gives them the confidence that their money is actually being put to good use. For communities, it builds a genuine belief in the program, which leads to them getting more involved. For the nonprofit, it builds up your credibility. And the bottom line, all of this leads directly to keeping donors around longer and getting much better results on the ground. Okay, so we get it. Trust is a really big deal. But how do you actually build it from the ground up? Well, the good news is there's a blueprint, and it really rests on 3 core pillars that any organization, big or small, can put into place. And here they are. These are the legs of the stool, the 3 pillars of a rock-solid trust strategy. Number 1, transparency and accountability. Number 2, deep community engagement. And number 3, effective and consistent communication. Let's break each one of these down.
First up, transparency. And listen, this is way more than just a buzzword. It means being radically open about how you operate, where the money goes, how you're measuring your impact, and yeah, even being honest about the challenges you're facing. It's about pulling back the curtain and showing how the sausage is made, so to speak.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, you share financial reports that are actually detailed. You provide impact reports with clear, measurable outcomes, not just fuzzy stories. You offer updates in real time, not just in a glossy annual report. And you even go out and get third-party verification to prove that your work holds up. Pillar number 2 is all about deep community engagement. And the key word here, the one I really want you to focus on, is collaboratively. This is about shifting your mindset from being an outside group that comes in with all the answers to being a true partner that works with the community to find solutions together. And what does that look like on the ground? It means practicing real cultural sensitivity. It means involving local residents in the actual decision-making process so they have a sense of ownership. It means prioritizing hiring local people and making long-term commitments, not just showing up for one project and then disappearing. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, effective communication. This is all about changing your updates from these generic one-way email blasts into personal two-way conversations that make your supporters feel seen, heard, and genuinely valued for their contribution. So how do you do it? You tailor your updates. What a major corporate sponsor wants to see is probably different from what a child sponsor wants. You create actual two-way channels where people can ask questions and give feedback. You stay consistent. A simple monthly update is so much better than a perfect one that only comes out once a year. And you use personal stories to build that all-important emotional connection. Now, of course, all this sounds great in theory, but building trust isn't always a walk in the park. So let's get real and talk about the common barriers and real-world challenges that can pop up if you're not ready for them. Here's one of the biggest disconnects we see all the time. On one hand, you have what donors often experience. These generic, infrequent updates that make them feel like just another number in a database. But what they really want, what they're craving, is a personal, regular connection to the impact they're helping to create. Closing this gap is absolutely essential. And it's not just communication gaps. There are other hurdles too. Sometimes donors expect a quick fix, but real change can take years. Cultural misunderstandings can completely derail a well-meaning program. And let's be honest, sometimes it's just a simple lack of staff, time or having to work with clunky, outdated technology. It's also really important to understand that the sponsorship model you choose has a huge effect on how you build trust. Take direct child sponsorship. It has amazing potential for personal connection, but it's a ton of work to manage. Pooled funding is efficient, but you run the risk of that communication feeling really generic. Choosing the right model isn't just an operational decision, it's a strategic one that shapes your relationships. So, how do we start tackling some of these challenges, especially the ones around limited resources and clunky systems? Well, that brings us to our next section, and this is where things get really exciting: technology. Because tech isn't just a tool, it can be a massive accelerator for everything we've been talking about. Just think about it for a second. For years, the idea of being truly transparent at a large scale was more of a nice idea than something that was actually possible. Technology is what completely changes that equation. It's what turns transparency from an ideal into a day-to-day reality.
So where does tech give you the biggest bang for your buck? Well, it enables real-time reporting on your impact. It makes personalized communication scalable so you can talk to thousands of people in a meaningful way. And it creates crystal clear financial trails. Each one of these has a direct, high-impact effect on building that donor trust.
Okay, let's bring all of this home. We've gone through the why, the how, the challenges, and the tools that can help. Now, let's talk about your path forward, how to actually put these principles into action to create that real, lasting impact. So let's do a quick recap of the big ideas. First, remember that trust is built on those three pillars: transparency, community engagement, and communication. Second, you have to be ready to tackle those common barriers head on. Third, technology is your friend here. It's a powerful accelerator. And finally, always remember the goal: transforming donors into true, engaged partners in your mission. All right, here's your action plan. Your first few steps. Start by taking an honest look at your communication right now. Is it personal? Is it a two-way street? Next, and this is a big one, prioritize consistency over perfection. Get your whole team on the same page and train them on why this matters. And finally, just be honest. Be accountable, especially when things don't go perfectly to plan. People respect that more than you know. And we'll end with this final thought. At the end of the day, trust isn't just another metric you can track in a spreadsheet. It's a human relationship, and it's built one deliberate, consistent, and authentic action at a time. So the question I want to leave you with is this: how are you building yours?